They're done to the vehicle. Now we understand one person may have bailed out of the vehicle at one point, but it did go northbound on the 110 freeway, exited at 39th Street, got onto his surface streets for a while, got back on the 110 freeway southbound, and then exited once again here in South LA. Now we're here at Cimarron Street and 48th right now, but the vehicle continuing to speed at high rates of speed.
Take off your clothes, it's Friday night. Burn yourself to make a point.
Drop back quite a distance due to the speed. Here comes a turn back.
Light yourself on fire.
Eastbound on Vernon. So we'll see what happens. This is also in the LAPD's jurisdiction. We'll see if LAPD gets involved in the pursuit or just allows the CHP to continue through their area. But at this point,
only got to chase, man.
Back towards the 110. Got a ways to go to get back to that freeway. We'll see if that
Embassy's left
happens.
too.
But
check it out.
At one point, we understand the passengers or the driver were flashing gang signs, as according to the CHP that were in pursuit of the vehicle.
And Gil, do we know, I know you were mentioning that one of the passengers hopped out. Did they hop out on the freeway or when they exited the freeway and on the city streets here?
It was definitely on the city street, so he didn't copy where that happened at. We don't know if there were any units that picked up that person or not at this point. But look at the speeds. This guy's going over some pretty big bumps there at every intersection. So
like 30 or something.
Definitely to get away. And here goes a right-hand turn eastbound away from us. But I'll come out to a wider shot. We'll keep the car in the shot and look for those units that are on the ground. So far, not directly behind him, but the airship is definitely tracking overhead.
Yeah, he was definitely flying over those speed bumps there, which, you know, could certainly do a little bit more damage to the undercarriage of that car. Already there is damage to the front end driver's side of the vehicle. And really speeding through this South LA neighborhood is slowed down considerably to what he...
Hey, Taylor is always messing with me.
Yeah, really erratic, and I have to mention again that he dropped off two of his passengers here in the area not long ago. So I would venture to say that this is an area that...
What kind of car is that?
Considering that he...
Siam.
He's looking for a place to ditch the vehicle as well. Again, this is coming back as a stolen car, so if he can ditch it and run away far enough, this guy could possibly get away. There's no ground units behind him,
so
he will have at least a few minutes of advantage on police.
Oh, somebody skateboarding.
That little close call there with that pedestrian there. We've seen a couple of close calls already because, as you mentioned, running red lights, running stop signs, and really not obeying any of the rules of the road as he continues at what are high speeds for surface streets here, because these are residential areas where the speed limit is 25 miles an hour, and this guy's going easily 30 miles an hour more than that.
Yeah, you know, Eliana, we're seeing...
It's a kid.
Again, for anybody who's just joining us right now, this is a pursuit that we're following in South LA. You see it right there, Exposition Boulevard. Started around 5:23, so not too long ago. And as Eliana was mentioning, this driver dropped off two other passengers that were in the vehicle.
Yeah, and in tracking mode right now, but some erratic driving. And as we saw, Eliana, they have stayed in this residential area. And that always makes you nervous because right now people are out. In fact, we saw someone go by on a skateboard. We've seen pedestrians.
Ooh, traffic.
And now in a tight spot here, stuck in traffic.
What you gonna do?
So we'll have to see what the driver is going to do.
Eliana, what's going to be protocol?
So at this point...
He's just going to chill? Just chilling at the traffic light. No worry in the world. Cali shit blend in. I mean, there's no units on him behind him, I guess. I'd be freaked out. Stolen vehicle.
See any ground units behind him that maybe he'll start to drive.
Is it worth it for a Kia, man?
And right now, it seems like he's driving normally, but it's only because he had that stop. Prior to that, it didn't seem like surveillance mode was working at all.
Ronan, thank you for the 10 says blessed with a chase.
That's when the watch commander could possibly authorize for those ground units to get behind the vehicle again. And once the vehicles are behind it, that's when they have a little more options because they could deploy a spike strip, they could do a pit maneuver. They really do have some more pursuit and intervention tactics that they could possibly use. Whereas right now, all they can really do is just follow him from the helicopter.
Yeah, we are taking second looks here when we see the driver going over speed bumps or dips in the road and not really slowing down. So we'll just have to wait and see what they're going to do. But it really looks like they, as you said, are looking for a place to stop and ditch that car and maybe get away on foot. I don't know if they know this neighborhood or not, but it seems like they just keep making turn after turn. Do you see any pattern here?
Haven't found a pattern yet, which is going to work against the police here if they're thinking about putting a spike strip out at some point, because there's really no rhyme or reason to this person's driving. They're just kind of all over the neighborhood here. But you saw the sheriff's helicopter there. There's a good chance that the guy driving this vehicle just saw that police helicopter because he was so low. So this guy still knows that he's in a pursuit. He can see the helicopter, even though he doesn't see any ground units behind him. But again, it does appear like he's slowing down and possibly looking for a place to ditch the car out of the sight of that police helicopter.
You know, Eliana, with you saying that he's on surveillance mode, I mean, could somebody that he knows be watching and let this driver know, hey, they're still looking at you, you're still being followed? I mean, can they potentially be in contact with somebody through a cell phone?
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually had that happen before where a driver who was in a pursuit was watching our coverage. And the reason I knew he was because I had asked a hypothetical question, and then he actually answered it with his hands, putting up digits to answer what my question had been. So that, ever since then, I knew that it is definitely a possibility that these drivers are watching our coverage, and so they know that this is still a police pursuit. But of course, he can likely see the helicopter as well at the altitudes that the helicopter was just over him. It'd be really difficult for him not to have seen it. So he still knows it's a chase. So in this case, surveillance mode maybe isn't the best option, and it's likely probably best to just get some ground units behind him, because he will at some point try to.
True, we do need emoji. Yeah.
All right, so we're at Adams, Normandy, in Los Angeles right now. Again, this all started because of a want for
the sun hanging off of the right side of the vehicle, too. Maybe part of the car, I guess.
Likely a Kia Soul, and we've had a number of pursuits.
Oh, almost hit that guy.
And a lot of the vehicles have been Kias, and this particular type of Kia too. It looks like he's just slowing down there because that driver was trying to reverse into a parking spot, but is still relatively slow.
Let's go.
Considered, and you see
1,800 people on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. He's pulling over. Subscribe. We just got 20K the other day. Oh, he's doing a 3-point turn. Okay, Kia boys. Kia boys.
So now he's U-turning to try to get out.
Go home to mama. That's what we know you. Oh God, you almost hit these people. We know you're going home to mama.
About this pursuit in their neighborhood, so they're trying to catch a glimpse for themselves, which is never what you want to do. You want to stay indoors and just watch it on TV, because you don't know if this person is possibly armed or could use that vehicle against you. So these types of situations are not something that should be taken lightly.
No, anytime someone is running from authorities, they are in a desperate mode no matter what. I thought maybe he was turning into a house he might know and people were outside. We've seen that before where they're trying to reason with them and get it all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the 5 memberships.
But as you said, it was a dead end. So here we go, continuing in the very same neighborhood.
Hit the like, hit the like. When I got 473 likes, we can get 1,000 likes, please. Thank you.
And this is when you see a lot of kids just kind of playing around their neighborhood, riding their bicycles. And fortunately, we're not necessarily seeing that. We are seeing, although you see one person there, but, you know, we are seeing a lot of vehicles that are parked. And yes, some of them that are pulling in or out of their driveways and driving to their homes, potentially.
Yeah, that's always a concern when a pursuit is at this time of the day when, as you said, people are just coming home from work or school. So you do have a lot of that pedestrian traffic. You have cyclists, especially on these
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for the 6 months.
You get a lot of that type of activity. So it actually would be safer if you got back on the freeway, because at least it does take a lot of those dangerous elements out of the equation. But at this point of the day, every freeway here in our area is going to be extremely congested, and this guy probably knows that. So he's probably trying to avoid getting onto the freeway so that he doesn't get stuck in traffic, and is instead going to continue to work surface streets here in the Adams-Normandy area.
And if it's the sheriff's department following overhead in the helicopter, how long will they allow him to just continue to go round and round and play this game without doing anything? Because as Annabelle just pointed out, we're seeing a lot of people, children, there's some people right there out in the streets. So it could easily turn into a very bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really up to the watch commander to determine if he's going to allow ground units to get behind this guy to try to chase him with units behind him, which was the situation initially. There were ground units behind him, but he was driving pretty recklessly, so that is when they pulled the units off, and it's been helicopter only ever since. Now, the watch commander could also just cancel everything altogether and pull the helicopter off as well, because this is a property crime. It's not a violent crime. This is believed to be a stolen car. So the police department really has to weigh if it is worth it to continue to chase this guy and potentially endanger people, which is not what they want to do. They, of course, want to protect life and property, but in that situation, life is always going to win out. So they could possibly just cancel everything altogether. But for now, they're going to continue to follow, at least with the helicopter, as he continues here on Adams near Normandy.
PJ, thank you for the 5 memberships. Appreciate that. Rat4 as well. Thank you so much. Amy with the 20. Boom. Congrats on 20K. Oh, that's fitting, right? Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. What a day.
Over the scene in New Shopper 4. And Ileana, where are we right now?
Robert, we're on Adams and Dalton, so we're very close to Adams and Normandy.
Sherlock Holmes, thank you for the 5.
And I was just saying literally 30 seconds ago that there was a possibility that the watch commander could cancel everything altogether. And my pilot, James Pollard, is now telling me that the sheriff's ship, which was the only police unit that was following him, is now being pulled off the chase. So this is going to be a situation where they're going to let him go, at least for now. The reason they're doing that, of course, is they have to weigh the danger level versus getting somebody's stolen car back. And at this point of the day, with the number of pedestrian traffic, the number of vehicles that are out here in the area, the police department in this situation has determined that it's best to just let this guy go for now and try to get the vehicle at some other point out of basically an abundance of caution for protecting life and property here in the area instead.
We have to say that we did many times see people coming outside. We saw people on bicycles. We saw children since this driver has been driving around this neighborhood. So we have kept pointing out that it is very dangerous.
And they seem at this point, Ileana, that whoever is following that car, that stolen vehicle, has pretty far back anyway. And so they're going to...
So he's ready to go into oncoming traffic to get ahead, I guess. The cops are pulling back the ground units because I guess they feel it's not worth it, which I can understand, I guess. But even without any ground units, I didn't realize I was covering the speedometer. He's still kind of quackadoodle driving, like going nuts.
Come to a stop, that's when those ground units can swoop in. But in this situation, as my pilot James Pollard was just telling me, the helicopter has been canceled. So
the helicopter too.
There's no helicopter overhead. There's no ground units behind him either. So it's a situation where for now, this guy will get away. Unclear how long that's going to go on for, because of course they could catch him in an hour, they could catch him in a day, but for now, because of the number of vehicles and the number of pedestrian traffic in the area, they've decided to let this one go.
And just wondering, Ileana, if you ever heard anything about that beat up front bumper, the way we see it looks like just a big chunk taken out of it right there. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, we never heard if he was involved in a collision, but clearly he was. And this was in Hawthorne initially. It started off of Broadway and Oxford, were the streets down there, where Hawthorne police officers
He's speeding up too, on us.
Vehicle, and it came back as a stolen. Now, just in covering police pursuits for a long time, I know that whenever Hawthorne police gets a pursuit, they're pretty quick to bring things to an end. They're great with pit maneuvers. So I don't know if this is a possibility where maybe the vehicle was damaged in a pit maneuver or in an accident after the fact, but clearly significant damage there on the front driver's side of the vehicle.
And you are watching the NBC4 News at 6 o'clock. I'm Robert Kovacik alongside Kathy Vara. This is a stolen vehicle pursuit that we have been on now for some time. Right now, this vehicle in the Jefferson Park area, and Kathy, I think Ileana clarified that there's only the driver in the car, and the only want right now is, in fact, just for a stolen car.
This is a stolen car out of Hawthorne, and we had been in surveillance mode with the Sheriff's Department following. The ground units had been called off because they deemed this too dangerous. You can see why they're on these streets, and we've seen pedestrians in the way. But right now, no one following, just us, and we continue to track them as we thought possibly they would continue going round and round and eventually do what we see all the time happen and ditch the car and get out. But Robert, earlier we have to mention that Ileana saw 2 other people get out of the car. So there were more people. Maybe they got information from them. We don't know.
And the reason why we believe now that the Sheriff's Department is going to pull away from this pursuit is, in fact, just what you saw there, sort of the residential streets that this car was driving down, and not to put any people in danger. I'm not sure if you noticed, but on the right side of that car, it appears, you see the damage on the left side, but on the right side, it appears that something was dragging from that side as well. Not sure what collision this car was involved in, either before or after this pursuit began.
Yeah, so a stolen car right now at Jefferson Boulevard, Jefferson Park in Los Angeles, and they continue. Speeds not too terribly high. I mean, it is for a residential area, and we've seen the driver hit some speed bumps and
not paying attention to traffic signals.
Exactly. So it was deemed too dangerous to continue, because that always ramps up the adrenaline and might make the driver take off even more. But just there you go. Not following the signs right there, not stopping there at the intersection and going around drivers when they get in front, for example, turning right here.
And Kathy, you mentioned that there were 2 people that were dropped off from that car. And was this in the same neighborhood that they were dropped off in? Pretty much the same neighborhood. So as you said before, driver may be very familiar with this area and maybe knowing exactly where he's going, and maybe just sort of taking a tour right now around South LA.
Exactly. Maybe looking for a place to get rid of the car and to get out and run. But earlier, they could see, obviously, that they were being tailed. Right now, not sure why they continue with no one following them, but maybe just wanting to be extra sure. Right now, let's get back to Ileana. Maybe she can tell us a little bit more information about this pursuit we've been following. Started about 5:20.
Let 2 people out, apparently.
Yeah, it started at about 5:20 in Hawthorne. It was near Broadway and Oxford. So that is when police officers from the Hawthorne Police Department spotted this car. Now, it's unclear if the plates are the rightful plates to the vehicle and they came back as stolen, or if this was a cold-plated vehicle situation where the plates simply don't even match the vehicle, and likely meaning that the vehicle itself is stolen with stolen plates. So it's been going on for a while, approximately 40 minutes or so. It's made its way all the way from Hawthorne up to Jefferson Park, and we're now in South Los Angeles. For a while, we were very close to USC. And it appears that the vehicle was involved in at least one collision at some point, because it does have that significant damage to the front driver's side of the vehicle.
Ileana, what do you think we will do right now? Do you think authorities will get back on this, or we will just see this car continuing to drive around as we see, again, more pedestrians?
God.
They're just not stopping.
Yeah, so at this point, there's no ground units behind him, and there's no helicopter overhead either.
I was going to take
So at this point, basically the pursuit has been terminated in that sense. However, there is always the possibility that further down the road, another police agency could possibly spot this car, and obviously they would see the significant damage to the vehicle, so it'd be easy to spot. And then also they've been notified that not LAPD, but rather Hawthorne Police was in pursuit of a vehicle matching this description, so they could possibly get in the vehicle, or get behind the vehicle rather.
Almost got
As we make our way towards South Los Angeles, those 2 other possible agencies would be either LAPD or the LA County Sheriff's Department. If I had to guess, LAPD would be the most likely to possibly follow this car, because usually the Sheriff's Department, usually the Sheriff's Department is quick to terminate their pursuits. But for now, we're here facing southbound on Western, coming up to 37th Street.
Also the possibility, Ileana, that perhaps the Hawthorne PD knows who the driver is and maybe has an address, an identification on this driver, and is hoping that they can pick up this driver in a different location at some other time. Is that what they're thinking as well? That's the mindset?
Yeah, that is very possible. They wouldn't have any information about the driver based off of the vehicle itself because it was stolen. When you and I are driving, the police officer behind us can easily run our plates and get our registered information and be able to know where we live and could track us down that way. In this case,
MP has sense of urgency. He can't wait. So let me see. The person even reversed for him. All right, he's going into oncoming traffic.
Would have to come.
Let's see if there's any driving the wrong way. Let's see if there's traffic. I don't know.
Passengers at one point.
Wow.
And we believe that
okay, skirts back just in time.
Was able to take them into custody, so they could have given police a name of who is possibly behind the wheel, and of course they could have given them an address as well, which means that police could try to get him at some other point. So for now, there's no units directly behind him, and again, no airship overhead, but clearly still some dangerous driving going on here in South LA.
All right, Ileana, thank you so much. We're going to stay with your picture right now as we're joined on the phone with retired CHP Officer Bill Preciado. And Bill, thank you for joining us this evening. We just wanted to get your point of view as to why authorities pulled off of this and these dangerous pursuits when they happen on city streets where people are walking and passing by.
Good afternoon, Kathy. It's afternoon on a Friday afternoon. The sergeant that made that call, more than likely.
Bill, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, more than likely what? I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Bill's watching the chase.
The sergeant who made that call is taking into consideration the traffic.
Ooh.
Hey,
Still
Bill,
driving well.
It's Robert Kavosik. Good to talk to you again, sir. Bill Preciado, formerly with the CHP. Bill, when you consider a pursuit like this, is it possible that they will then jump back on because they think that they can possibly be able to get this person and take that person into custody?
Oh, definitely, Mark. They're using their air unit. Those are one of the tools.
What's up, Kid Rocks?
Yes, I am here.
Hola.
Okay.
Oh, he got a delay. He's watching the
unit is more than made the call is
chopper,
taking all that into consideration and
all right, I think we're having a little bit of trouble. That was Bill Preciado, retired CHP officer, just a little bit of trouble with the signal. So we want to go back to our News Chopper 4 and Ileana Moreno, who can fill us in a little bit more on what we're seeing, which is really kind of more of the same, just in the same location. Ileana.
Yeah, more of the same, Kathy, just kind of working his way here through residential streets in South Los Angeles, a number of close calls with pedestrians and other drivers. And for a second there, he started driving on the wrong side of the road, too, because he didn't want to wait behind some slower moving traffic. But he's back in a residential area, which, as the officer from the CHP was just saying, the watch commander, the sergeant on this, likely canceled because of the traffic conditions. So it goes back to a point that I was making before. The police department, their job is to protect life and property. In this case, the vehicle is the property of somebody, of the rightful owner, and they'd love to get the vehicle back to that person, but they have to take into consideration the lives that could possibly be put in danger if they continue to chase this person. So that watch commander, he weighed his options and decided at this point it's not worth it to continue to chase him because it's more important to make sure that nobody gets struck by this guy, that nobody gets run over. And so for that reason, at this point, they have pulled all the ground units off of him as well as the helicopter overhead.
Ileana, take us back from what you know when it comes to exactly how this vehicle was stolen. You say it was stolen in Hawthorne. Was it stolen in a carjacking? Was it taken from a person's driveway, from a parking lot? What do you know, and what do we know about the owner of this car, and were they involved?
The only thing we know about the original vehicle theft was that the vehicle was spotted in the area of Broadway and Oxnard at about 5:20 by Hawthorne police. So that is when they started giving chase. Right before they start pursuing, they always just try to do your traditional traffic stop. In this case, it would have been a high-risk traffic stop. So we usually have what is called a following before we go into a full-on pursuit. So they followed this vehicle for a while. They got some units behind him, likely got the helicopter overhead, and then tried to pull him over. But that is when the driver decided he wasn't stopping, and he and his two buddies kept going. Now, when we got to South Los Angeles, that is where he dropped off his 2 passengers. So at this point, we believe that that driver is solo in this vehicle, a Kia Soul, which does have some damage there to that front bumper on the driver's side. It's unclear how that happened, but considering the number of close calls that we've seen so far, it wouldn't surprise me if he was involved in a collision during the course of this pursuit.
And as far as speeds that you've seen since we started this, it stayed relatively in the same area, like between the 30s and maybe up to 50 at some point. But maybe this just isn't dangerous enough for the authorities to keep following, because we have seen that situation where it's so outrageous that they feel like they have to bring it to a stop.
And the reason why we are following this, Kathy, and we want to reiterate to our viewers, we're staying with this due to the safety concerns for the community in the South LA area and wherever else this driver could go, because we have seen and we are seeing reckless driving, and we do want you to be aware of what is going on right now on the outside where you live.
Okay, I mean, luckily this person, I don't know, they're doing a little bit of crazy driving, but
so
still cognizant of people walking around.
Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. I was just going to say, so obviously they had gone into surveillance mode because it was so dangerous. They had the helicopter on him, and that helicopter followed him for quite some time in hopes that he would change his driving style. That's the whole point of going into surveillance mode. They want this driver to think that he is no longer being pursued. But he's actually doing some hand gestures in our direction. So it seems like this guy still knows that there's helicopters above him, so he still thinks that this is a pursuit. He's gesturing.
Hey!
He might even be gesturing to the vehicle right next to him.
Gang, gang! Oh, it's not the helicopter?
I don't want to zoom in too much because I'm not sure what hand gestures those are. But he did have his window down there for just a moment. He's wearing a black sweater, made some hand gestures either at the helicopters overhead or at that vehicle.
Ain't nothing y'all gonna do. Apparently those kids are like very easy to steal because of something. There was some documentary about it. And there's something I got to show you after this is over about these Kia boys that admitted to some newspaper that they're selling the cars for like between $50 and $100. I'm like, what? Oh, the cops
not going. But you notice now we have a patrol car right behind him.
FAFO. Oh, come on, don't get stuck under.
He's right under the bridge there, the overpass for Vernon Avenue. I haven't seen him pop out. That was LAPD. It was LAPD Southwest.
Did he stop?
And my monitor's pretty small, so if you guys see him pop out, let me know. But I haven't seen him come out.
Neither the LAPD unit or that stolen Kia.
But we'll keep eyes on it and let you know if we do see anything. Right now,
are going around
we're seeing them going very slowly, so you can tell something is going on. But I haven't seen
under the bridge when it happens
at this point. So this is 42nd. Flower and 42nd.
Yeah, so this is the 110 at Vernon, and I'm hearing on the scanner that the suspect vehicle may have hit the police car on the southbound 110. So I'm just listening on the scanner here real quick so I can try to pick it up again. But he may be further down here on the freeway. He may have popped out when we weren't looking.
Okay, we'll let you listen for just a minute as we continue.
All right. KTLA has the same view. Let me see. Oh, no, they got a different... He's getting arrested. He's getting arrested. Damn. He's getting arrested. KTLA has the view.
He's backing up, down on the ground. And as we've seen so many times, they'll be cuffing him. And of course, they also have to check out that vehicle and make sure that there are...
Oh, come on. What is this? Oh, my God. I don't know what happened.
Hopefully coming to a peaceful end here on the freeway on the 110.
Yep, they brought in a second unit now on the freeway. It only took one unit to pull it over. The driver deciding to pull over, I'm not sure why. Maybe he was running out of gas and figured he's not much longer in this pursuit to go and just gave up. So it's hard to say, but one unit there from LAPD getting behind it once it got on the freeway here, and the driver just stopping and surrendering. That's a good sign. They'll make a call out to the vehicle for anybody else inside to come out with their hands up, and then they'll put a team together to go and check the vehicle, make sure no one's in there, and take that person into custody.
Oh, good, because this has just been it's been a very dangerous, chase, watching him go on those city streets and jeopardizing so many people, often driving in the wrong lane with traffic coming at him. So this is nice to see. Hopefully this will just come to a peaceful ending here.
Yeah, it ain't over till it's over, though, right? So you always want to see that this is fully.
So this vehicle dropped off 2 other people, apparently, and got out. So I don't know if police ever caught up with those 2 people. And, you know, I'm surprised he just gave up after all those shenanigans. You know, but that's a good thing. And even as he's going down, I guess he knows he's being watched on TV, still representing the gang, throwing up gang signs or the clique or whatever he's with.
They seem to continue to increase. Gail, what are we going to see, Gil? What are we going to see here? Are they going to go up and put him into cuffs, or are they going to go up and search that car first? Bring us through the process.
They should go up to the vehicle first to check it, make sure that no one's in there with a gun or something that can harm an officer that goes to the driver. So they're going to put that team together. Here they come, a team of 4 officers that are going to move around and check the vehicle. They're going to hold on the driver there to make sure. They're going to check the side of the vehicle, that officer going down. They feel pretty confident that no one's in there right now, but guns drawn at the vehicle itself as they put the handcuffs on the driver here. And they'll do a thorough search of the vehicle to get all the doors open and check and make sure no one's in there. But it looks like, the way they're postured there, that it's just the driver only.
Very good.
All right. All right. Well, there we go. Another successful ending to a police pursuit that began. Possible stolen car at a Hawthorne around 5:30 this evening.
After the valedictorian speech was canceled.
Done already? All right. Let me see if there's another feed. If not, we're going on to the new stream. The new stream, the guy that burned himself alive to send a message to the world so you all learn your damn lesson. So you all know better. He sacrificed himself and burned himself alive.
Yes,
They're crisp.
Alex Amarla.
Let's see if we got the Sky Fox here. Here he is. The ultimate sacrifice to get the message across. Would you be willing to do that? And some people say maybe this is going to start a whole slew of people burning themselves, lighting themselves on fire. And somebody had said, let me check ABC. Fox looks like it's over. Somebody had said, well, at least they didn't hurt somebody, which is true. Like, at least they didn't, besides themselves, go kill somebody. That's true.
At least nobody was hurt. Truly, at least nobody was hurt in this pursuit, and we certainly watched this.
Wow! Look at those cops!
Such extreme risks.
Holy moly! Thank you.
If somebody was going to get into their path, and they were either going to hit a car or hit a person. So
it's true, Sarah.
Sigh of relief for everybody.
All right. Well, moving on, Christy, good job out there. Thank you very much. We're getting on to more breaking news this afternoon. The big story, an update that we've been following all week long. USC is making changes to its graduation again.
Okay. The Kia thing, there was this group of, will it back up, I guess? Or is it just cycling? Sometimes I get stuck cycling. Yeah, it's over already. There was this group of car thieves known as Kia Boys. They reveal, I'm not going to believe this. They reveal, group of car thieves known as Kia Boys reveal that their stolen Kias, they sell their stolen Kias for $50 to $100 each. How are you making a profit like that? I can only guess that because it's stolen and you're probably going to get in trouble anyway for whoever buys it. I can't find that article though. The new one. Kia Boys. Oh, 8 hours ago. Here it is. Oh, wait a minute. It's 40. Oh, this is. Wait, what?
If you were to raise kids right now, what's the main thing you tell them as far as steps for success in life?
Go get you any flat hat, any USB cord, and go get you any car you want.
Whoa, nigga, you in CT, BPT, you know how we do it over here. Big 203 shit.
Let's go, BPT baby. Stands for Bridgeport, right?
Yeah, CT Kia Boys. You'd be surprised when you first do it for real. You're like, how is that so easy? For me, I could take that shit down in one shot. So it take 10 seconds.
We don't beef for public way too we catch niggas in they hood, niggas in our nuts. Nigga Hans, he shot the stick, I told him stop buzzing. The op they never hit shit, they got whack jumping.
My name is Andrew, a journalist from Seattle, and for the past couple years, I've been following an online trend called the Kia Boys. After I first discovered a documentary by Tommy G filmed in Milwaukee.
Hey, watch this, watch this, watch this.
Depicting brazen teenage car thieves who seem to be able to steal Hyundais and Kias with nothing but a flathead screwdriver or a USB cord. And very quickly after their discovery, the Kia Boy met.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the link to his channel because I'm sure I can't play all this. I'm probably gonna watch this though. This looks freaking interesting. Or maybe one day we can watch it on Discord together as a group. The Kia Boys. But I'll link his channel if you guys want to watch his whole thing. This will definitely check him out. It's Channel 5 with Andrew Callaghan. Kia Boys. What happened to that boy? All right, we're going to the new live. It's set for 9:30. So I'm gonna take a little 5-minute. Go use the restroom. I'll start the next stream at 5:30. Sorry, 9:30. What the hell am I saying? 9:30 p.m. Eastern. 5 minutes from now. We'll talk briefly about this man that set himself on fire. We're gonna listen to the press conference, some of his videos that he's posted to social media, his manifestos, and I guess this is mental health. I think that the QAnon conspiracy, like radical conspiracy people, there should be some type of classification for these people in the DSM-5. I really do think that they need to be like put into a category, those special people. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit. Love you. Bye. Bloop.